Hey friends, I am back again for 32 days of lives. I should have added the hashtag to the description, whatever. So anyway, hey guys, I am, if you've never catched one of my lives before, whatever, my name is Ashley and I own Charlie Rose Creations, where I make and sell glitter tumblers, and I teach other women how to make and sell their own. So it's weird going live so often. I'm only on day 2. So funny. Okay, so today what I'm doing, you'll notice your view is a little different because I'm using a different cell phone holder thing. Normally I use my tripod, which is right here, this guy. But I wanted you to be able to look down and see what I'm doing. This is actually what I use when I am filming tutorials, because it's so much easier if you can, like, to me, it makes more sense if you can look down and see exactly what I'm seeing when I'm making tutorials. So anyway, I am making glitter samples. Sorry, I'm messing with my necklace. I'm making glitter samples, and it's super, super easy to do. All you need is, number 1, your glitter. Number 2, some epoxy. And then number 3, a silicone mold of some sort. And so this is mine that I use for samples because they're not very big. I don't want them super large. If you've gotten some of my magnets in some of the orders, you don't see, sorry, I'm reading and talking at the same time don't work. I don't have a lot of magnets this size because they're a little bit smaller, but I do have a larger mold that I use for my magnets, but something smaller like this is perfect. I don't know if you can tell, mine are in the shape of roses because roses are part of my brand, and roses and floral stuff. All a part of my brand. And so if you have something that goes along with your brand or something you're passionate about or whatever, I would highly suggest you use that type of silicone mold. If you don't, then it doesn't really matter what you use. You can use whatever you want to. So I have 15 on here, and that's all I'm going to do today because my other 2 are super messy, and I washed this one. Hopefully it's had time to dry. I don't know, but yeah, I actually have 3 of these ones, but honestly they're just like super gross. It's hard to keep them clean with all the glitter. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna do today, and so I am going to point you down so you can kind of see what I'm doing and see how I do it. I don't know that this is how everybody else does their sort of stuff. I have no idea, but hopefully it'll help you if you want to make your own, either your magnets. You can, this is not the same way I do my magnets. I do my magnets a little different. But yeah, hopefully it will help. How do I clean them? I just put soap and water on this one. It got most of the gunk from inside right here. But as you can see, there's still stuff like on the top, but it got most of this out. And so most of the time I don't really clean them. I just go ahead and make it anyway, and it's all glitter. But for glitter samples, I did want mine to be a little more, I didn't want to have like stray glitter pieces getting in it. It's more important for like actual sample colors. So these are great if you, here's why I do them. Number 1, I like to see what they look like. I like it. And so right over here, there's a blank wall right here to my right. My husband's actually building me a little board. He's going to frame it out, and I'm going to Velcro these to the board because I just like looking at my stuff, and I like decorating with my glitter stuff. And so that's what I'm going to do. If I ever did like a craft fair or anything like that, that would be perfect. All of my samples would be perfect for me to take for people who like want to order a custom thing while they're there. You could also do this with and you can make it as magnets or whatever. So yeah, Brandy, I actually posted a video on my page earlier today that has all of those, all of these right here. These are not done. Yeah, those are not done. And so they, I haven't showed them yet. So, okay, well, I'm going to point you down and let me get set up on my iPad so I can actually see your comments while I can't see my phone. So glad I remembered to charge it. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm ready now. Let me do this. Whoop. Sorry for my super messy floor. It's got glitter all over it. I said I was going to vacuum it, but that has not happened. Okay, so just to kind of tell you about the stuff I've got going on over here. Here's my mold. And then what I did too is so this way I wouldn't screw it up and mess up the colors that I've got going on. I should remember, but knowing my luck, I'd be like, I have no idea what color this is or something crazy. So I'm just going to write them down in the order that they are so that I can make like a spreadsheet with them. You don't have to do that, but I would if you have like a lot, especially if you have a lot of different glitters from a bunch of different suppliers. I'm actually only doing my personal glitters, like my ones that I sell right now. Yeah, so let's see. So I'm just going to pick 15. I have more than that, but I'm going to pick that many. So what I usually do is I do like, I set them out. I don't know if you can see this. Like I kind of set them out. I'm going to do all my pinks at one time. Okay. And then I go ahead and I write down their names. So again, I don't forget. I normally don't write this gross, but I'm trying to be quick so you don't have to watch me just write. Okay, and so then what I do is I take a little bit of the glitter. I know this is going to seem super weird, but this is just the easiest way I found it. And I dump just a little bit in there. So I don't know if you can see, that's about how much I do. I can always go back and add more later if I need to, but I do this first. Hey guys. This is like my new favorite color right here. This is Rose Opal. It's a little bit darker than some of the other ones I have, but I just put it on a cup for myself. I've got an idea and I wanted to play around with it. And I haven't epoxied it yet, but I hope that I know it's going to look awesome. All right, so y'all know that for my magnets, I don't use like straight glitter. I use like the stuff that gets all mixed together. I don't like to waste good stuff. Some of these do not want to come out. All right, and so I've left them lined up over here to make sure I don't forget. I shouldn't, because these are my own ones that I named myself, so it's very unlikely that I should forget my own glitter stuff, but just in case. Here, we're gonna do the blue ones next. So I think I have exactly 5. Yep. All right, and again, so I haven't done any of my epoxy. I made the normal amount that I normally make. And so I didn't want to do that first because I don't want it to harden up too much, if that makes sense. Okay. This will actually go faster. Ooh! And so that one, of course, I do way too much, so that one's going to need more epoxy in it, of course. I'm trying to be too fast and I mess it all up. All right, so I think next, for the last one, I'm gonna do my, my greens that I have for right now. So you won't technically get to see these finished. I'll probably post them tomorrow because it takes a little while for the epoxy to harden up, just like on the cups. These actually cure faster than the cups do because the more epoxy you have mixed up together, the faster it cures. So this is a thicker amount of epoxy that's going to be used as opposed to on the cups. And so it actually cures a little bit faster. And you could do other things with this. You could make these into keychains. I don't do that just because it's a little more time consuming. And I give away my magnets for free. I mean, I know these are glitter samples, but you know what I mean. All right, let's see. Ooh, that writing is atrocious. Whew. Okay. So now that I have these down, so some of them, like this one right here, has got so much in there. So I'm going to set that there. And then I'm going to do my epoxy part. So I can answer epoxy questions also while I do this. So that's kind of beneficial if you have questions. But since I do so much at one time, I make my own measuring cup. You can actually use those little medicine measuring cups if you want to, if you're only mixing up a little bit, but this is just what I prefer. And I always do B first, and I kind of crouch down, and then I have them in these little bottles. I don't know if they're pronounced FIFO. It's first in, first out, I think is the way where the name comes from. But restaurants use these for like sauces and stuff. But this little thing right here keeps the stuff in so it doesn't drip out. I still keep it in one of these though, just to be sure. But it helps me make my, it helps me measure more accurately, I guess. Well, not I guess. I definitely know I measure more accurately when I have it going on. I don't always have them in this, but if I don't, I feel like I'm not as good at measuring. And then I do A second. A is always thicker. And I don't know why I do A second. I just always feel like I should do the thicker one last. I guess I'm always scared that it's going to get like stuck in these little crevices and stuff. All right, and then I use a giant popsicle stick. I use the bigger one, and I do have a reason for that. I feel like when I use the smaller one, I get way more air bubbles. Sarah, thank you. That bugs the mess out of me. I'm like, I don't like it when I don't know how to pronounce things. You know, when you've only seen something in writing and never heard it, you have to figure out how to pronounce it yourself, and like, I can't stand it when I don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this up. So I use Premium FX Epoxy. They also have a standard epoxy, but I feel like it yellows a little bit more. And so that's a little bit of a problem if you do a lot of white tumblers, which I do. I have a lot of white. That's one of the popular colors. And so I like this. And you can kind of tell that it's like, it was super clear in here, super clear. Tammy asked, have I ever had problems with my epoxy crystallizing in the bottle? She just ordered some, and then she said that she's seen stories. So I've actually seen stories too. I'm not in any groups besides like my group, But I had a couple of people that had a similar issue, and I'm wondering, epoxy does not do well when it's exposed to really cold temperatures. So I'm really wondering if that's part of the issue. I just opened those bottles. Let's see, I just opened those bottles. They've been sitting in my house though for a while, and I have never had any issues with their epoxy ever. But I feel like it's got to do with the cold weather for some people. But that could be totally wrong. So anyway, I just make sure I scrape the sides really well. And this is exactly how I mix up when I'm mixing up for my tumblers. I probably actually do it a little bit slower when I'm not on the live. Because what a lot of times I'll do is I'll sit down and I'll read while I'm doing it. And so I'll end up going really, really slow because I don't want to stop reading. I'm a big reader. So random. Okay, so Crystal said that she did have it happen. And then she said she put it in a super hot water bath for several hours and that helped. And I believe this. She said too that it's happening during transport, and I firmly believe that. Wherever they house all of their stuff is probably climate controlled. I've just got to believe that because epoxy is so sensitive to temperature, and so it's when it gets in these trucks to travel about. So I wouldn't heat it with like a heat gun. I think what Crystal did is probably what I would do too if I had that issue. Y'all remember, I'm in Georgia, so like it's been in the 60s the last few days. It has not been very cold at all. So we don't have that as big of an issue with that. All right, so I've really made sure I scrape the edges around the bottom, and I do a back and forth motion on the bottom of the cup just to make sure I get it all incorporated. And I also scrape the edge this way, and so it's clear. And so here is what I do. I may have to go back and add more glitter, which is totally fine. I don't even need that right now. But I use this little stick and I just dribble it in there. I do 2 of these. I'm going to do it in each one. I feel like y'all could be a little bit closer. Hang on, I'm going to adjust this, so give me just a second. Sorry, this is not my most favorite. This is not my favorite phone holder because it's hard to adjust. Jamie, I don't do anything to it first. I did clean it this time because it was a hot mess. But no, I don't do anything to it at all. Oh, let's see. Oh, Crystal, thank you. I love them. I'm super excited about just selling them. I think that that's Joyce, no, I don't follow the directions on the bottle. I do have bubbles. Like if you look in here, you can see that there are bubbles in here. I don't really stress about that because when I put it on the tumbler, I go over it with the heat gun and that gets all of the bubbles out. And I haven't had a need to do that. You have to remember this is the epoxy that is meant to be used for your countertops. And so they're expecting people to buy it and mix up large batches. And so that, I think that's why they recommend that you mix it for several minutes and then move it to a new container. I probably mix it for 3 minutes total, maybe a little longer, but I think I'm gonna have to add more glitter to this. I was worried I was gonna have like way too much epoxy, and it actually worked out pretty good. It's a good amount. And this is dripping like all over the silicone mold. I'm not worried about it. It'll just pop right off. Okay. All right, and then I get, let's see. Chris says that I called the company after getting 2 bad batches, and they did admit to having problems with part A. All right, so I wonder why some people are having problems but others don't. Michelle, yeah, I would do the same thing for, I have done the same thing for chunky glitters. So I just mix it up like this. I use a little popsicle stick. And so I can tell I don't have enough glitter because I can see it's almost like, I can just tell it's not enough. These are glitter samples, but you could also use them, here we go. Also use them to make magnets, or still feel like that's not enough. Woo! And then I probably added way too much. Y'all, this is my life right here. This is what's... Here we go. That last batch was way too much. You don't need to add that much glitter. I don't know if you can tell how thick it is, but it is. And then I just have a bunch of these, and I just throw them away. You could wipe them off though if you don't want to. Caitlin, mine don't come out dull. But if they do, you can just spray them with a spray sealer, and it should lighten it up a lot. I mean, make it shiny, not lighten it up. That made no sense. I'm trying not to do the same thing I just did. And so this is all I do. It's really super neat. I just like having, you can see the bubbles are popping up. I just like having samples of my colors. And so I'll have these on the wall. And then that way, like if somebody asks for a specific color, I can either show them the sample if I happen to not have a picture of the glitter on a cup. So I did not add enough originally. This is one of my favorite colors right here. So I don't know if you can tell in this video, it's a pink. You can see that. It's a pink, but it's super cool because it reflects different colors. So it can kind of look purple, or has a little bit of like green in there too. All right, Jessica is saying that she's heard that if the mold is dull, then the samples will be too. Whoop. This mold, you can tell right here, is very shiny. Okay, so I put too much in here, so I'm going to actually add a little bit more epoxy to this one. This is why I'm glad I mixed up some, or mixed up extra. Kendall, yes, one of your cups has this pink. It's my one of my all-time, actually these two are my all-time favorite. So this is my all-time favorite dark pink. And this is my all-time favorite lighter pink. This is like a bubble, not a bubblegum pink. It's more like a blush, I would say. awesome. I've heard that I haven't had any issues, so I've never had to like reach out and get in contact with them, but I've heard that they're absolutely wonderful. And yeah, the standard is still fine. I used the standard for a long time. So it's not like it's a bad epoxy. I just kind of prefer the premium right now. Oh, I'm so glad. I loved doing that one. Well, I just love that. I love that color. I love that color combination. That's my all-time favorite white and one of my favorite pinks. So Lorinda, that's a great question. I wonder if you can still use it for like doing stuff like this where you don't need the finish to be like 100% perfect. I just hate to waste, you know, to waste it. And since mine's kind of, my mold is kind of, it's got ridges on the bottom, I'm making sure that I really try to scrape in there. I don't always get it perfect, but that one was good. Like sometimes when I go to pull the mold out, there's still glitter in there, and that's okay. It just comes off. Y'all, I don't do a lot of these things perfectly. I can tell you that right now. Hey Maria, I'm making glitter samples with some of my new colors because I don't have samples. And this is just one way to do it. I just think it's the easiest. This is a really new, this is a new color to me. I haven't had it before. A lot of these I've had before. They're just, they're my line. And this is just the coolest blue. It's super bright. I love it. Yeah, so both of these are like what I would call baby blues. This one is a little bit darker, obviously. I can show you them, I think on a tumbler. I know I have the lighter version on a tumbler. So this one is, so you can see that. And then this one is like super light. It's one of my favorites also. They're all my favorites. I'm that person who says everything is their favorite. Okay, so then here, so you can kind of see them next to each other, the difference. But they're like in the same color family. I think this is a, it's just a lighter version. Obviously, it's lighter. Y'all, I swear, today has been a day. And apparently, I'm not very smart right now. Marie, you crack me up. Okay. So this is a brand new color to me, too. I used this one in this month's tutorial. And it's really very cool. No, we're not in the group. This is on my page. You can guarantee that anything at 8:30 in the month of January is on my page. Okay, so this is like a moss color. And so it's more of a, like a natural green to me in comparison to this other green I have. So this one's called Evergreen, the one I'm mixing right now. It's a lot more bright. Whoop. So you can see the difference. Like this is just like a supernatural green. Not supernatural, that sounds, a natural green colored. And then this is more, this one seems like way more vibrant. I think they're both beautiful, but they both have different, different purposes, I guess. Add a little bit more to that. Yeah, I haven't used it, Lorinda, on a tumbler yet. I can't believe I haven't done that. It's just been sitting here. This is the first time like I've opened that jar. But it's super pretty. It's super bright. This is the one that Lorinda is talking about. It's called Earth Tone Green. Thank you, Shauna. It's more of an earthy tone. Let's see. All right, so this is also a really cool green. So in case you don't know, and I think I'm going to do a talk on, or like a live on this, kind of explaining the different types of glitters and the different looks you can get and stuff. So there are two main types of glitters that I use. There are metallic, which is what these are. So like this is a metallic color. And then there is this, which is iridescent. And so the difference is that this glitter is opaque, whereas this one is see-through. It's transparent. And so it's really cool what they can do with that and how it looks different. So this is a green. It's one of my favorites also. It's the one I gravitate. This is the green I gravitate towards the most. If somebody says they want green on a tumbler and they don't tell me a specific color or whatever, depending on what the top color is, a lot of times I do this. And it's got like blues in it and stuff, but it's going to look different if you put it like on a black base versus like, if you just do it by itself. Like it can look different based, depending on what's underneath it. Okay, so hang on. Sorry, I thought I had it aiming there. Y'all, it's kind of hard when it's like way right here. All right, so glitter comes in a bunch of different sizes. So somebody asked about sizes. And honestly, sizing is, I think, a preference. Like it's just a personal choice. Most glitters that you're going to find at like craft stores or even like online, a lot of people really like the ultra fine, which is the size 0.008. I do not necessarily like, I don't hate it or anything, but if I have my choice, it's not what I'm going to use. It's also not what I sell right now. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure this is mixed up. I'm going to finish talking in a second. All right, so I use what would be considered like just fine glitter, and it's the size 0.015. It's just slightly bigger, but I feel like it is, because the glitter flake is just a little bit bigger, I feel like it's just way more sparkly than ultra fine. And that's my personal opinion. Like if you use ultra fine and that's your jam, go for it. This is what I use on my tumblers. So these are all 0.015. So just a little bit bigger. So this is fun. This is like a mint. Hopefully I'm showing it. Brandy, I figured that's what you meant. I'm sorry. So sorry. It's so hard to, oop, here we go. I don't know where the camera is, why I'm struggling with this. There we go. Okay. And so it's behind a little bit on this thing. But this is like a mint color. Again, it's iridescent. So a lot of times for things like this, I'll do them on a white base. Metallic colors do not need a base. A lot of iridescent colors do. So just to remember that. And so that's done. And a lot of times I'll kind of do this as I'm knocking that pink into this blue. It'll be on the back, so it's not a big deal. Kind of get those air bubbles up. You can also hit it with a heat gun. I'm going to add a little more here. You can also hit it with a heat gun if you want to. Since these are just glitter samples and I'm not sending them out to anybody, I'm not gonna hit it with a heat gun. But I do it just like my tumblers, just kind of run over it. So like this one has a good bit of bubbles in it. That one just popped some. I don't know why those aren't popping. Usually just kind of jostling it around like that gets them to pop. There we go. Okay, and then that's it. So these just sit here. If I was going to stay up late and be a night owl, which I don't know if I'm going to be, I could probably pop these out in about 3 hours. These cure faster than other stuff, than cups. But, and that's wet. But what I'll probably do is pull them out in the morning. And then I may even number them on the back so I can remember. And I'll number my little cheat sheet. I'll make a spreadsheet with this. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll definitely post a picture of these, but most of y'all have seen these. My group people have seen these because they are the colors they bought. So, see, I'm going to try to point you up a little bit now that it's like right at my belly. Good gracious. Y'all, I hate this one. Oh no, my battery's about to die. Sorry, this is like not my most favorite thing. Okay. There we go. Amanda, I don't usually do it that early just because I forget about it and I'm doing something else. So you should be able to tell when they're done. And it also really depends on what epoxy you're using. If you're using Amazing Clear Cast, it is going to take a while. Sarah, the struggle is real, for real over here. Y'all, I thought my kids were going to drive me to the crazy today. To the crazy. All right, does anybody have any other questions? Let's see, how long have I been on here? 37 minutes. I did good. I did good this time. I wasn't on for ever and ever and ever. Sometimes I feel like I'm on a lot. I'm going to epoxy tonight so I can finish up some of these tumblers for the live sale. And let's see. Amazon has rolls of Oracle for $5 or less. Jessica, how much are you getting in your roll? Because I think I can get mine fairly cheap. Oh, Amy, I'm sorry. Megan, yes, live sales this Friday, 8:30 p.m. EST. So if you're not in the Eastern time zone, that's $1 a yard. That's a really good price. That's a really good price. If you're not in the Eastern time zone, you need to figure out what time it would be for you if you want to make sure you catch it. Amy, yes, so this is the one I did for my husband, my very first wood grain. This is my husband's koozie. I think it turned out okay. He loves it. That's all that matters, I guess. But yeah, it was my first one. I just kind of like went for it. While, because I wanted to give him a little something extra, and he's always needing a koozie at work. So somebody was asking what is on my wall. So I'm not sure what we're talking about here. This is my vinyl holder, and it is the IKEA bag holders. They're $3 a piece. I don't have an IKEA near us. There's one in Atlanta, but that's too far. So I had these delivered. I paid a whack in delivering, you guys. I swear I think it was like $20. We also bought some other stuff at the same time, but whoa, they charged crazy amounts for shipping, which was, it's just, ugh. These are my shelves for my tumblers. And these, most of the, depending on if I finish all of them in time, all of them will be on the live sale on Friday. Regular ordering will open up on Monday. And I don't know that I'm going to do I don't know if I'm going to do a close date or not, but Tammy says that Amazon has those holders. I looked the other day, but they were more expensive, so I'm not sure if they've changed their pricing or not. So Hey, Jennifer's asking essentially what kind of machine to cut vinyl she needs to buy. So I have only ever had the Silhouette Cameo 3. All the Silhouettes have the same software, so it doesn't really matter which one you buy. I also had like the original Cricut. I don't know if you guys remember that, where you had the little keypad you had to put in, and then you had the cartridge you had to put in. It didn't actually hook up to the computer. So I don't have any experience with any of the new Cricuts, but I love my Cameo 3. I've had it for 2.5 years and almost 3, and I love it. Kelsey, I need to show y'all the first cup I ever did. I think I did it for my husband. It was just spray paint, and I pulled the vinyl. So it's spray paint and silver. So it's not awful, but this was back before I had a turner or even had anything. I was leveling it on 2 boxes, on like a saran wrapping box and a tinfoil box. So that was super janky. Fran, this is the Hog koozie, and so this is just a gasket. It just pops on, and you just pop it on. It's not painted, it's black. This is silicone, you couldn't do anything with it anyway, and I kind of like that, so then I don't have to fuss with the lid. Sarah, I saw your husband's wood grain on Facebook, and it looks really good. I loved it. Tiffany, I'm going to just have the live sale is a bunch of tumblers. You can kind of see them back here. I also posted a video earlier today with several of them. I'll probably post a couple more once I finish these guys. And they range from, I have one kids cup right here. These are 20 ounces right here. Whoop. I don't think I have any specialty ones. 2 specialty tumblers. So the 20 ounces start at 40. And then these are 30 ounce ones. I have 2 white ones, which would be perfect for water slide stuff, like watercolor decals. Amanda, I buy my tumblers from Hog. Kayla, I use my vinyl for the decals on my tumblers. This one doesn't have one, so it's not a great example. He didn't want anything to cover up his wood grain. But yeah, I stick them on my tumblers. Sarah, I use disposable cups to mix up my epoxy. I have tried the reusable ones, but it's kind of a similar situation to what I have going on with my silicone, the little things I was just using. What happens is a lot of people are like, oh, you can just pour it out. Well, I'm not like, or you can just like pop it out like the epoxy once it's cured. But since I'm like dipping my hand in it and pulling a little bit out at a time, I get splatters of epoxy. And so then it's almost impossible for me to like get all of the little dots out. And I was tired of spending 10, 15 minutes trying to get everything out and still missing it when I went to go do the next one. So I just used disposable ones. But I don't feel too terribly bad because I mix up so much at one time that it's not too bad. Tammy, if the Amazon ones are 2 for $18.88, I spent $3 a piece on these, so that would be 6 for 2. And then for the entire shipment, I had 2, 4, 6, 8. I actually have 2 other ones. I have 10 of these. Was $20, so that's $2 in shipping a piece. So I still think it would be cheaper to actually order from IKEA. Somebody just said on here that they were saying that IKEA has like $9 shipping now, so it's even cheaper. Sarah, there's not much that you can't say now over here. It was only when I was doing the glitter and I wasn't sure that I was actually going to start selling it at all, or I didn't know how it was going to go, and I wanted to just talk to you guys about it first. But if I have something that you can't say, I will be like, do not say this anywhere. But I can't think of anything right now. Maybe Shauna can, but let's see. Okay, Holly asked, ever had someone say they did not get your delivery when the mail receipt said it was definitely delivered? No, I haven't, luckily. But you can call the post office. It doesn't have to be their post office. It can be any post office. You can call your local post office. You give them the tracking number. That's the whole reason you have the tracking number. And you ask them for the coordinates of where it was delivered, because they scan it. And so if it says it was delivered, and that means they had to scan it, and so you have the GPS coordinates of where it was scanned. If the coordinates are her house, and they should be able to tell you that, then it's up to her to find it. Like either somebody in her house has it, or her dog ate it, or she's just not looking for it, or whatever. But if the GPS coordinates are not, which has happened to a neighbor, they got something delivered here, and I kept meaning to like go take it to them, and I just kept forgetting. I know nobody can relate to that, forgetting to do something. And so they must have called and asked. And so the mailman knocked on our door and was like, hey, did y'all happen to get a package delivered here? Because their address is one number off from ours. So that's kind of how I would handle that. Where did I get the lid things on this? This is how they come. These are from Hog. Y'all know I don't have any other tumblers that I purchased right now. And so, yeah, this is how they come. Super, super easy. Amanda said to not get a Cricut, and she's talking about why not. And this was the main reason why I did not choose a Cricut. So for anybody who's like, I need to purchase something, maybe you got some Christmas money or whatever. The Cricut is internet based. And so it requires the use of the internet for a lot of different stuff. When I first was going to purchase, our internet was super, super spotty. We didn't know at the time, but we found out that number one, our house wasn't wired correctly when the guy came out 6 years ago. And number two, the pole out by our house had been struck by lightning and fried the circuit. So we were getting like a minuscule amount of internet for what we were paying for, which is super frustrating. So we had two things going wrong. And so I couldn't rely on a cutting machine that needed the internet at all. So that's what I like about the Silhouette. The program doesn't need the internet to run at all. It doesn't need the internet to cut. And so if that's something that's important for you to not need the internet, or you don't want to have to maybe rely on that or whatever, a Silhouette is probably for you. Let's see. Kelsey, I haven't done a buffalo plaid. Y'all, Christmas was a huge blessing for me. And luckily I didn't take more orders than I could handle. And I got everything out on time and technically 2 days early, which for me is like, wow. So I was able to rest and all of that. But y'all, when I say I haven't done anything since I finished Christmas orders, I started doing stuff yesterday on the 1st. I started the year off with a bang. I started the year off with some glitter. But Christmas was rough for me. I was doing group stuff. I started packaging glitter for the first time and trying to sell that. I added a whole nother section to my business that I wasn't even thinking about doing ever. And had to get tumblers finished and out the door. I lost 2 tumblers somewhere in the wilderness. I don't know. I had to redo them. It was just one thing after another. So no, I have not had a chance to do the buffalo plaid. It is still taped up over here, and I'm hoping I can work on doing that. Amanda, Hogg is spelled H-O-G-G. The Stainless Depot, yeah. The website for Hog is the Stainless Depot Company.com, if I remember that correctly. Tammy, I've never been to IKEA either. I feel like I'm really behind on comments, by the way. Sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, hang on. I gotta pull up my iPad. For whatever reason, when I'm live, I can't read. Who is that? Sarah. All right, Sarah said she bought some glitter from Michael's and it looked good on the tumbler until she started to epoxy it, and then long pieces of glitter. Okay, so in case you didn't know, glitter is made, the metallic kind is made from mylar, which is the stuff, you know, for the balloons. It's just colored mylar that's cut up, essentially. And so because it starts as one big piece that they cut really, really tiny, I'm talking like I've like seen this happen. I've talked to people. Sometimes those happen. I have noticed that they happen a lot more with craft glitter than with poly glitter, which I use poly. So just for reference, it's pretty normal for craft glitter to do that. I don't know what is happening. I don't know what's going on with my iPad. Okay, let's see. Yeah, y'all, I've always told where I get my cups from. I don't stress about that. Sarah, I didn't know that there were two sites. Oh well, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal about the cups. So no worries, no worries. And I appreciate you trying to protect me. It is all good. And that's also why Shauna watches a lot of these. I see her little comment here. She's there to, you know, handle any situations that arise that I may not see right away because I take forever to read these. Let's see. So Silhouette does not require a mat. I actually very rarely use a mat and absolutely hate using a mat. Like hate it with a passion. If I can get around it and just not use one, I will every single day of the week. And so that's why I wait and do all of my decals, as much as possible, try to do them all in one day. And so then I can cut, sorry, my shirt's bothering me. Then I can cut a bunch at one time. And I think the Silhouette can also cut a longer piece compared to the Cricut. Laura Lynn, so right now my glitter is not available to the public. And here's why. It's not because I'm trying to shaft you guys and like not sell to you guys or anything like that. Gonna be totally honest here. It's a little scary. It's a little scary to do something totally different. It doesn't seem like it would be different, and yet it is. People expect their stuff really quickly with that because you already have it in stock. You just have to ship it out. And I've already made a few mistakes. Luckily, my group's amazing, and has shown me so much grace as I have worked on this new part of the business. And plus, I'm not buying a bunch at one time. So I'm not going to have all the colors at one time. So what I'm doing right now is I'm slowly building up my color inventory and selling it to the group and all of that. I do hope to open it to the public. I'm not sure when that's going to be. But yeah, and also we don't have a lot of storage room right now. And so we're having to clean out a space in our house so that I can store it. And so that's been a challenge. It's been different. It's been great, but it's also been it's just been an adjustment. So no, right now I'm not selling outside of my group. Sarah, no worries. Do not stress about it. It is no big deal. You have nothing to apologize for. Let's see. Oh, Brandy, thank you. Let's see. Oh, Trisha, you're so sweet. Thank you. Becky, there is a password. My glitter section is password protected because it's only for my group members right now. And so they have the password for that. If you're in the group, because sometimes I don't know everybody's name because there's so many people. There's a post with the password. Patricia asked, do I sell decals by themselves? And the answer to that is no. No, I do not. People ask and I just don't. It's not worth it. I don't feel like you make enough money. Like the vinyl itself doesn't cost a lot, and technically it doesn't take a ton of time, but it's taking time away from my other things that I'm doing. And it's just, the shipping supplies also cost a lot. So no, no, I don't. Fran, if you're trying to cut without a mat, you need to make sure that you move your roller bar over. Okay. Trisha, the paid group is not open yet. So it originally opened back in September. I think it was September because I was originally going to do October, and my people talked me into doing it a month early. And so it originally opened in September, and I open the doors for a little bit and then I close it. So that way I can focus on just the people in the group versus trying to make sure I know who's coming in, who's going out. And it's just, that's craziness. So if I only have it open for a few days, it just helps me control the chaos. And I just need that. So it is opening again at the end of this month, January 29th through February 1st is when it's going to be opening next. And I don't know 100% for sure. I don't think it's going to be opening again to the public until August. I think. I don't know. I have to look at my calendar. Nora, I'm so glad that you love them. I'm so glad. Hey, Marcy. Oh, Jamie, I'm so glad. So I try to check the way I do glitter. It also helps that I'm not working on tumblers right now, so I've been able to be really fast. But I try to check it at least once a day. And I check it so that I can package it up before my mailman arrives, so that way he can pick it up for me. And if you sell anything, can I just say this? You really need to do scheduled pickup. It is the bee's knees. I'm not even gonna lie. The thing that's great about glitter is I don't have to do scheduled pickup. I can just pop them, usually fit them in my mailbox and just put the little flag up. But when I'm doing tumblers, I do scheduled pickup. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all, my mail guy he's amazing. He's amazing. So sometimes I forgot over Christmas. And when I say sometimes, I mean every time I forgot over Christmas. And so I would put the flag up and I'd write a little note in there and I'd say packages on porch. He'd go get them for me every time. And I've watched him a couple times and he still had a smile on his face. He was wonderful. Now we sometimes have people who come in place of him who sadly aren't as great because they're not our normal people. But seriously, if you sell anything, I don't care what you sell, do scheduled pickup. Your time is valuable. You don't need to be running to the post office every day, every other day, whatever. Tiffany, that's actually what I did on this live. I didn't do leftover epoxy. I just did it new because I wasn't epoxying today. But I mix up glitter and I make little magnets. This time I mixed it up and I made individual color samples. But yes, that is what you can do. So if you missed the beginning of this, I highly recommend you go back and watch it. So this is one way that you can do it. I'm going to do the way I do my magnets, because it's a lot more like down and dirty. It's kind of quick. for those people who have a lot of time. Amy, you're so sweet. So I'm all about transparency. This is dry shampoo hair from yesterday. And she said my makeup looked good. Also, I did not wash my face last night because I actually had an anxiety attack after my live, which was really weird for someone who's gone live so much. So if you're one of those people out there who's like, I can't go live, I have anxiety, and I do too. And so if you watched my live yesterday, you'll kind of notice I seemed a little out of breath at some of the parts. And that was why. And I didn't really notice it until I got off, and I was like, holy crap, like, what is going on? So the thought of washing all of that to say, the thought of washing my face was not happening. So I rolled into bed, makeup on, all of that. And so today I didn't feel like getting ready either because I'm still have a little bit of leftover anxiousness. I can still feel it. So I just slapped on some more makeup on top of yesterday's makeup. So I really hope I'm not the only person who does that. I really hope that I'm not the only person. That's why my mascara looks pretty good, because it's on top of yesterday's mascara. So it's extra long. Laura Lynn, yeah, you can make glitter samples with anything that's silicone. Anything. Shauna said, I think I said July. I'll have to look at my calendar. I can't remember if it's July or August. I don't really like the idea of doing it in July because people are on vacation. And I don't want to do a big launch in July. Let's see. Marcy, you're so funny. I'm so glad you got it. Oh, my phone's gonna die. Let's see. Do you use super hot, or do you use super glue or hot glue to? For the magnets, I use E6000, which looks, hang on, which looks like this. That's what I use. Leslie, thanks. I ended up going longer than I thought I would because I wanted to talk to you guys. Jamie, you stand at the end of the driveway. Yes, dry shampoo is life. Y'all, I don't like washing my hair. I don't like washing my hair at all. It's not that I don't mind washing my hair. I don't like drying it, and I don't even have a lot of hair, so it's not like it takes long, and just the thought of having to get ready and so no. I'm all about dry shampoo, and yeah, but normally I wash my face. So, okay. Oh, Mary, thank you. Thank you. Marcy, you're so sweet. Okay, well, I think that's it for today, and I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. We may epoxy tumblers tomorrow because I'm going to do, tomorrow is Thursday, correct? Shauna, yes. Y'all know I'm an afternoon pigeon. That's about what I'm not a morning person. I think tomorrow is Thursday. Y'all, please tell me that's correct. So anyway, if it is, then I'm going to probably be finishing up some epoxy on tumblers that I want to sell. Thank you, Samantha. Sell in the live on Friday. But don't hold me to that because, sometimes I just change my mind. Because that's how I roll. All right, you guys, so that's going to be it for today. I appreciate y'all hanging in here. I should have asked y'all to share earlier. I forgot. But anyway, if you feel so led to share this live, y'all know how much I appreciate that. That's how people find me and like my page, and that means so much to me. And yeah, so I will see you tomorrow, and thanks for hanging in. Bye, guys.